All right, so with lesson 9, we're going to do advanced compositing. So you're going to cover editing smart filters, using the liquify filter to distort an image creatively, apply color effects to selected areas of an image, apply filters to create various effects, and use the history panel to return to a previous state. You're also going to upscale a low resolution image while maintaining the quality, which is super important for anybody who's going to work with images and need to try to be able to print it at a higher resolution. In your lesson 9 folder, you've got the lesson 9, you have lesson 9 end, you have all of these little pieces, monster makeup folder, all that stuff. So let's take a look at the end file, right? So right here, you're going to be putting all of this together. You've got a monster makeup file, and you're going to be adding all of these tiny assets like the head, neck or stitches, the hair, the staples, and you're going to be putting it on this person. And additionally, you'll be fixing the colors of their hands, and then you'll add in a couple other elements on this to create this really advanced composite, okay? Go to Browse and Bridge, right? My bridge is working again, so here. Browse and Bridge. Give it a minute. It's been a little rough. I'm going to go ahead and just do this so you can see it. Now, our lesson 9 has our end file, our backdrop, our faces, our T1, which is their little tombstone, and then it also has the monster makeup file. This has your bolts, your forehead, Franken, like the guy who you're going to be using for Frankenstein, the green ear, the neck, nose, skin, and monster hair, right? So if you take a look at the one that we're going to be ending with, there it is. So if we go back to Browse and Bridge, right? So when we create this movie poster, we are going to open up that monster makeup folder real quick. And then we're going to shift click the first and last item. We're going to select all the items for monster makeup. And we're going to go to Tools, Photoshop. And we're going to say Load Files into Photoshop Layers. Okay, that brings everything into here, so they're all within this one file. Okay, so by doing so, we're going to have that. We're going to name this one 09 working. Okay, 09_working .psd. It's a Photoshop file. We're going to save it in lesson 9. Awesome. Save. Okay, we've got our 8 layers that have been brought in, right? They're alphabetical, top to bottom. So we're going to go ahead and make them rearrange so that their contents will help us start building it. So let's go here. We can see everything. We're going to drag monster hair right here to the top. We're going to drag that Franken layer all the way to the bottom. Then we're going to shift select every other layer except the Franken layer and edit, and we're going to choose free transform. Okay, so we're going to go monster hair all the way. So from monster hair to green skin texture, we're going to go to free transform, which is what is on right now. We're going to drag down from a corner of the selection to resize all those layers to about 50%. You can watch it in the top. Okay, we're at 74. 64, 54, down to 50. Can we get, oh my gosh, we're so close. Okay, we'll go down, boop. Oh, we'll go down to 50%, right? So we're at 50%, and then we're gonna move those layers up to this guy. Now we can also select, let's see. Do this. We're going to bring this here, but we're also going to bring him down. Okay, so I'm deselecting. I'm going to bring his image, bring him down to here, and now I'm going to go back to where I was. I'm going to select all of those, hit transform, bring it down so that it's kind of matching. Zoom in a little closer. So we're going to hide all of the layers except for the green skin texture. So again, hover over here, and do that. Okay, quick another way to do it. There we go. So we're gonna go to his green skin texture. We're gonna transform and we are going to arrow down. I can hold Option or Alt to be able to keep centering it since you kind of want to line it up with the eyes. I think it's pretty close right here. That's pretty good. Except for the fact that it does that. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty good with that. I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter and then I'm gonna save. Okay, so we're going to use a liquefy filter. So we are going to have it so that it tightens those eye openings and it changes the shape of that monster's face, right? So your green skin texture layer is selected. That is correct. We're going to go to filter. And then we're going to go down here, convert for smart filters. And that'll make a smart object. Yes. So see, smart object has that little thing on the bottom. We're going to go to filter, and then we're going to go to liquefy. So under the face aware liquefy tool, we have it here. Remember we did this in lesson 5 whenever we were working with the model's face with the red eye. We're going to be able to select to show the backdrop, and by doing that, that will allow us to be able to see kind of the changes that are already happening. So let's try that. So I'm going to go over here to show backdrop. Okay, see that? Okay, then we can zoom in. And we're going to change that show backdrop, by the way, to like 75. A little bit stronger. Okay, that'll help us really align it. I'm going to use that zoom tool right here. Click, 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 click. Then we're going to do our forward warp. So see that? Click here. Now we're going to change this brush size. We're going to go from we're going to go down to a size of 150. You can just type it, but I'm deciding to be complicated. And the pressure is going to go to 75. So that forward warp, it's going to push those pixels as you drag. So with forward warp on, we're going to pull that makeup right under the eyebrow and we're going to pull it down to close that eye opening. See that? Okay, we kind of close the gaps there. I would have used a smaller brush, but okay. So when I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and do okay. Right? Cool. Neat. Because this is a smart filter, we can always go back in and change anything that we want. So I could zoom in and say, hey, his neck's a little rough out here. I'm going to pull it in. But I think we're good. Okay, cool. We're going to position the rest and we're going to get the green nose stitches layer visible. Here it is. We're going to change this side and do free transform. We're going to put it over the nose. Bring it up a little bit more. I feel like it's just too close to his nostril. Okay, that's there. Do the same thing with the green neck stitches. So we're going to go right over here, turn that on. We're going to move this down, right? We're going to select that, move it down a little too big. Get that bounding box, bring it down. Let's see how we can line it up. Right here, probably a little bit bigger. I'm okay with that. Just depends on how big we want his, how big or short we want his chin. I mean, he doesn't, let's be gracious. Let's find a happy medium. So we're going to do the same thing with the green ear staples. We're turning them on one by one so we can make sure that we have each of these. Oh, he's got his green forehead. Line it up with the eyes. Get the bolts layer. It's right here. Giant bolts. I was going to go over by his neck. Bring it down a bit. And then we are going to get that hair. It's right up here. Okay with that one. Save your work. Don't forget to do that. So we'll edit those smart filters again. We're going to go over to fix, let's see, I mean, his eyebrows are pretty good. Let's bring out the bulge though. So we're going to open up his green skin texture, right? And we're going to go to liquify again. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom into this as well. You can hit Command plus or use that zoom tool over there. And we're going to bulge his eyebrows just a bit. Do that pucker tool that's right here. This is pucker and this is bloat. So pucker tool. Now that's a really big brush and that needs to come down. Can't even see it, especially if you zoom out. Real big brush. You'll not need something that large. So you got your pucker tool, which if you want me to show you what it does, that will bring things in closer. So see, and then your bloat, as you can tell, will make things bigger. Okay. Let's do something with the eyebrow. Let's pucker. And then we'll bloat. I still want to fix this right here. I don't think his ear being covered is really... So if we go here, let's use our bloat. Also, we can go ahead and use this one. I think his additional face. Let's modify his skin texture. Still got a little ear hanging out there, but you know what? Next is the hands, and we are going to paint that exposed skin green. Let's head down to our Franken layer. Let's click that. And then we're going to add a new layer here by clicking the plus. Layer 1 pops up above franken.psd. And we're going to change this blending mode. We're going to go all the way down to color. All right. Now let's go to our brush. If your Photoshop is as stubborn as mine is lately, and the drop down is not opening for you, click this box right here. This will open up your brush settings and you can change everything in here as well. So we're going to go to 60. Okay. We're going to change our hardness to 0, but we are going to modify the opacity to 100%. So it's letting me do that. I'm going to put this flow back up to 100. I'm going to turn down the smoothing. Go here, sample this green. Okay, and then we're going to move over here. We're going to command click on this layer. Do you see how it creates a selection here? This is allowing us to be able to color within this bounding area, but just a reminder, that shirt is also selected with it. So when you're coloring, you're going to have to try to make sure that you're getting just an area that's the skin, so you can change that to green. So we can zoom in a little bit closer as we do this. Now, if you overlap, just undo, but as you're painting, you can see that it will cross over. Okay, so we're back on our layer 1 here that has color, and here we go. Let's start here. Now we're going to get the arm here. Now I'm still holding my button down and painting, and I'm pretty happy with this right here, so I'm going to let go. He's very green. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start at the thumb, get as close as I can. Remember, if you overlap, just undo it, do it again. Get the arm here, trying not to get onto the shirt. Going around that bracelet as much as I can. I can keep my button clicked and move. I'm on a trackpad versus a mouse, so I'm able to swipe my fingers so I can zoom back out. But you can normally do that too with your mouse. Okay, almost done here. I think we got it. Okay. All right. There's those beautiful, beautiful green hands of his. Now, if you're good, if there's anything else that you need to do, you can deselect. You can also go up into here and fix some of this face issue that you've got. So let's take a look at how it'll change, right? Let's see. It is underneath all of these effects, so it will only show what's underneath. It won't paint over any of this. Let's give it a try. I was concerned about the ear earlier. Look at that. Boom. Get a little bit here on his chin. He's a vision in green. Going right here. I think we might be good to clean up that space. Let's do a little bit of the lips. Awesome. Once you are satisfied and clean up any little thing that you might see, go ahead and you can deselect and go to select, deselect layers, or you can do this one, Command D on a Mac, and there you are. So you're set there. We're going to go ahead and save. So let's update his environment, shall we? All the layers are going to be visible. Everything's there. All right, so we are going to make sure all of these are on. They're all on. We're going to go to Layer, Merge Visible, which is also Shift Command E on a Mac. Those have all been merged into one. It's very much like flattening. We're going to double click it and call it Monster. Right? Then we are going to go up to File, Open. We're going to open up our backdrop.psd. We're going to do Window, Arrange, and we're going to do a 2-up vertical. This allows us to see them side by side. We're going to make the working file active. You see that it has our monster selected. Go ahead and grab your Move tool up here. There he is. He's selected here. And we're going to drag it over onto our backdrop.psd. Simple drag. You'll see him activate over here. We want to have his hands just above the movie title. So we're going to also move him down. That way this title is above him. We're going to close that 09 working one that you had open. You can save. We're going to do a file, save as. We're going to save this as movie-poster. Save in PSD format. Okay. So Now they're going to talk about your history panel, which I normally have open. It's right here, our history panel. So we've done edit undo, and there's also edit redo. So Command Z is your undo, right? Shift Command Z is your redo. So if you see on my history panel, see how it's moving me up? It's going all the way back to where it was. But then if I hold shift with that, it gets you back to where you were going. Clicking your the box on these sides will help to always allow this layer to stay something that's historical. It'll always come back to it no matter what you do. Big help when you're trying to say, I like a version of this, but I want to try to go back and make sure I can get back to where I was, or you sample from that layer too. So I'm going to stay here. Photoshop will retain the last 50 states or steps in your project, but you can change that by going to Edit Preferences Performance or Photoshop setting performance on a Mac and enter a different value for that historical state. Let's add in our tombstone and our filters and effects. We'll go to File, Open, and we are going to pull up our T1. We're going to open that. So it's super, super plain. You can see it here. Press the D key. That's default foreground and background. See how it switched from here to here? We're going to go up to Filter, Render, then we're going to use our difference clouds. Ooh, spooky. So we're going to keep this here, but we're going to blur the rest of it, right? So we're going to go up to our filters again. We're going to use not our blur, but our blur gallery here, and we're going to go to Iris Blur. This will allow us to make the top of that sharp, and the rest of it will kind of taper off with a blur. Okay, I'm satisfied. I'm going to hit enter. Let's go to our single adjustments again. Okay, let's go to our single adjustments again. Right, here's our adjustment presets, single adjustments. Okay. We're going to go to our brightness and contrast. We're going to change the slider to 70 for the brightness. Then we're going to go to our channel mixer. This is where we can change some of the channels and the colors. We're going to give it a little bit of green on its output. So let's go here. Let's go to our green output channel. We're going to go to positive 37 on the green value and 108. Just type 37. And then 108. So we're going to go down to exposure in our adjustments panel right here. We're going to add 0.90 to brighten that area. Okay. Now, this is, if we take a look, I'm going to leave this here. It's very different than when you first got it, and you can see how it's been moving through each stage that you've been working on it. Let's go back up to where you did your blur gallery, right? Let's go right up here. So let's go back to our difference clouds. Okay. Now we're going to do noise. So let's go back up to filter, go down here to noise. We're going to add some noise. We're going to do 3%. We're going to use Gaussian and monochromatic. Then you're going to hit OK. Much different than where you were prior, right? Much more believable. Now that you've done that, you've modified it, you've gone back, you've made a couple of changes, we're going to go ahead and put it in the movie poster. So we're going to say Window and Arrange, tile all vertically. I'm going to drag that tombstone right here into this. There's a color management warning. You're okay to press OK. All right, so that's here. Bring it into the bottom left corner with the top showing. Now we're going to save. We're going to close this T1. Don't need to save it. Okay, so here's where you're at now. Now we're going to bring in the picture of the other two people to the top right side. When working with different sizes of images, you're going to get things that have low resolution. For those of you who've already done your collage, you'll probably see a bunch of different versions of images that you have available or things that you bring in from the web. So this is another helpful way to be able to take care of that. So when you increase those pixel dimensions, all that space that's around how many, pixels per inch that you've got, that's upsampling. And then downsampling is decreasing. So when you resize an image, anytime you drag it, you're resampling that image every time inside. That's why you'll see some start to blur or lose their clarity because you're increasing the size. So there is a super zoom neural filter. This is one of the new things that are here. It can upsample your low resolution size with machine learning. So thanks, AI. This is a new way to do it, especially with these chapters. So let's take a look at how they're working with it. So we're going to go to File, Open. Okay, we are going to pull up the Faces JPEG. Now you can see, compared to all these other sizes of your files, this is very small. Normally, when you're taking photos on, say, a professional grade camera, you've got files that are 31 megabytes. When you are working in Photoshop files, they get very, very large. This one's only 44 kilobytes. So let's open it up and take a look. Okay, you can see this is at 680%. You can see the pixels in here. Let's take a look at the size. Image. This file is 3 inches by 4 inches at 72 pixels per inch, and its dimensions are only 216 pixels by 288 pixels. That's small. So let's see how they can fix it. We're going to go to Filter, and we're going to go to those neural filters. These are new. We're going to go to Super Zoom right here, turning that on. At the bottom, we're going to make sure that the output is New Document, which it is. Under the Super Zoom preview on the right, click this zoom until it says 3 times, 3x, right? See how it's improving? Let's go even farther. Look at that. Look how sharp it is compared to what it was. Let's go back down to our 3. The enhanced image details is on. We need to make sure remove JPEG artifacts. All those small square style little groups of pixels there, that cleans it up a lot more. And we're going to change our noise reduction to 3. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, imagery sample, that's traditional. This super zoom really has been wild to use. So we're going to take a show original because I want you to see. Look at that. So for those of you who are working on your collages or who have photos that you're bringing in or anything that you're doing in the future, utilize this. So we're going to say, okay, we're pretty good with everything. Now, your new dimension, your new document, let's take a look again. Image size. Now you're at 648 pixels by 864, my glasses, 864 pixels. You see how it's still maintained this kind of size, but your resolution's at 300 now. That's 3 times its original width and height, which is excellent. We're going to select all. You can also do Command A. Command A. Then we're going to go over to our, we're going to say Edit Copy, which is also Command C. Go to our movie poster over here. So if you're having issues like I am with my computer, which means I need to restart my Photoshop program. If you're ever having issues with space unavailable or your Photoshop is lagging, here's a couple of tricks. Go here, hover over. If it's not letting you open it by right-clicking, okay, hold down your option and click through there, and it'll let you get to that option. So we're using our elliptical marquee tool. In the options bar, we're going to change this to 50. That way it softens the edge of that pasted image. I'm going to draw an oval in the top right-hand corner, overlapping the window just a smidge. Edit, paste special, paste into. We're okay. Now we're going to use our move tool to adjust this a little bit so we don't see any edges. Okay. In our layer panel right here, we're going to go down on our blending mode to luminosity. We're going to change that opacity to 50%. And if it doesn't let you click, just drop it down like that. So there's your layer 2 right below title and right above layer 1, which is your tombstone. If you would like, you can rename that. You can change that to T1. And we can change this to faces. That way everything's labeled. And you are done, y'all. You can hit save, so it allows you to save the movie poster. You can close your faces file, no need to save. Close your Untitled 1, no need to save. And there you are. Upload that, and you're good to go.